How are you going to bring in your next contract? What is next for you? How to make this happen? And what I want to ask you is, what season are you in? Like, I need us to really stop and think about where we're at in our lives and what we need to do, because that directly has an impact on what's happening to you in your life. Let's talk about it. The first thing that I'm going to start by saying is that you have to change for every season of your life. But if you don't know that the season has changed in your life, how do you know what change you need to make? Stop and think about that for a minute. See, we don't know what we need to let go of or what we need to let in because we don't know that the season has changed. Here we are, we're about to enter spring. We're in spring, but some of us are still operating as if it's still winter. And then some of us have skipped straight to summer. And what happens when we don't prepare for the season that's in our that our life is in? You're the only one who can tell what season your life is in. And guess what? You also get to determine what season you are in. You get to claim it. And so spring for me is the rebirth. It's the birthing of. It's when things blossom. It's when things are made new. That's why we do spring cleaning. We spring clean to get out some of the old things, to rid ourselves of clutter, and to bring freshness into our homes and into our lives. We need to do that with our lives as well. For some of us, we need to clean out some old friends. We need to clean out some old energy. We need to clean out some old habits. We need to clean out some old routines, and we need to bring in some new things. And so, what I've learned to understand is that there are seasons in life, but every season has a reason. But the question is, do we step back and take a survey of what is really happening in our life? Some of us need to just get back to what works and let go of what isn't. Like, we keep doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting a different result. And we all know that that's clearly insanity, but we keep doing that. And some of us need a new environment. Like, we continue to show up in places to be the one in the room who has all of the answers, to keep doing the things, trying to prove ourselves to other people. We continue to play small and make ourselves small so that other people can feel big, so that other people can feel worthy. We keep overextending ourselves, exhausting ourselves. We keep not taking care of the main character in our story. We're not going to get ourselves checked out to make sure that we're in good health. We're not going to get the blood work done. We're not going on the walk each day. We're not doing things that are going to move us forward emotionally, spiritually, financially, all of the things. And that's because we haven't done the appropriate things to figure out what season we're in, and to take account of what we need to let go of and what we need to let in. So you're the one, you got to determine what environment do you need in your life right now. And we got to stop letting the enemy stop us. Like, we allow excuses and procrastination and all those things to stop us. And if you're with me live, give me a hey, what's up, what's going on? If you're catching this in the replay, give me a hashtag replay. For those who don't know me, I'm Dr. D. I was a school educator, was in the system for 17 years. And you know what? I got tired of living my life by default because some people told me to go to school, get a good education, get a good job, stay there for 30 years and retire, and then live your good life. And I did that. But you know what? While I was doing it, I wasn't living a good life then, and I couldn't figure out how I was going to live a good life afterwards because I couldn't even live the good life while I was working full time, getting a full paycheck. And so when I retired, I wasn't going to even be getting the full paycheck. So I was like, well, how am I supposed to do that? And I'm going to be older. And am I supposed to work until I'm 65, 70 years old and then live my good life? Even at 55, 58, 61. I could do a lot more when I'm 40, 45, 46, 48. I'm just saying, So I was living my life by default. I was living my life by what other people told me I should do. I was living my life by the societal expectations. I was living my life according to the American dream, that the America that does not see me as whole and human has said I should have. Who are they to tell me what I should have? Who are they when you try to keep me down at every turn? You can't even see me as a whole person. I can't even show up at work in my fullness because I need to adapt to what it is that you said that I need to do. But anyway, I want you to understand that we don't have to live our life by default. We can live our life by design. Hey, Life Coach D. Hey, what's going on? So we don't have to live our life by default. When you're living your life by default, and that means that you are just living, not paying attention to what's going on. You're taking what's given to you. You get what they say you can have. You are procrastinating. You're making excuses. You're living by what everybody else says you should be doing. That's a life of default. And I decided no. I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not happy. I'm not living the way I want to live. I don't have the things that I believe I should have. I'm not operating. I wasn't free. I felt like I was a prisoner. I was trapped. I had to get up every day, 7 a.m., get up at 5 a.m. to be at work at 7 something, and get off at 6 o'clock in the evening, come home. Everything was super routine. And if you miss a beat, you're thrown off and you're always trying to catch up. So I decided to design the life of my dreams. And that meant that I had to be intentional. I had to first be intentional with my thoughts. I had to stop hanging out with people who drained my energy, hanging out with people who complain all the time, who gossip. I had to control my environment. I had to be intentional about my environment. See, that's what I mean by, do you know what season you're in? Do you know what you need to let go of and what you need to let in? But a lot of us, we have not even determined what season we're in. You're sitting back waiting on somebody to tell you what season you're in. Now, how much sense do that make? Nobody gets to tell you what season you are in for your life. They don't get to tell you that, sis. You get to determine that. So you can determine that I'm in a season of identity. I'm in a season of rebirth. I'm in a season of reclamation. I'm in a season of evolution. What season are you in? Tell me in the chat. What season are you in? What season are you claiming for yourself? Because see, we get into the habit of letting people tell us who we are, how we show up, what we need to do. And I just want to come on here this morning to tell y'all this time out for that. Stop falling for the okie doke. You get to determine this. Let me tell you this. You get to determine what season you're in. And you get to prepare and you get to step into it. Seasons don't last forever. Just like right now, we're in spring. Spring only lasts for 3 months, people. And then we go from spring to summer. The problem is we'll determine, or we'll say that we've determined what season we're in, and then we don't have the discipline to follow through. I'm just gonna leave that right there. So we will say, I'm in the season of rebirth. I'm in the season of reinvention. I'm in the season of reclaiming. I'm in the season of rebuilding. And then we'll sit back and wait for somebody to come and give us something. We'll sit back and won't do anything to move us forward. See, because seasons only last for a little while. They don't last forever. And if you think about them, the same way you see in nature, nature is our perfect representation. Spring lasts for 3 months, March, April, May. When June roll around, baby, we rolling into summer. And if you operate in summer the same way you operated in spring, you're going to have a little problem. So seasons are meant to change, but you continue to stay in the same season all 12 months of the year. And that's going to get you exactly what you're getting. Because you got to determine the season that you're in by design, not by default. Not by default. And so when you determine what that season is, then you got to figure out what are the behaviors that I need to replace. You got to have a behavior replacement. So for some people, when you determine I'm going to bring extra income, hey, B. Janice, I'm going to bring extra income into my household, but then you keep showing up to your same job. I'm not telling you to quit your job, but you know your job is not going to give you extra income, so you got to do something extra. You determine I'm going to have a better relationship with my children, but then you keep scrolling on Instagram or YouTube every morning instead of getting up, having a little conversation with your child, instead of determining to take them to school, instead of setting up a Saturday date with your kid. See, you got to figure out what is the behavior replacement. What is the thing that I'm going to do? And what is the thing that I'm going to let go of? What is the thing that I need to start? And what is the thing that I need to stop? What are the things that I need to let go of? What are the environments that I need to get out of? And what are the environments that I need to get into? See, a lot of us as high achievers, and I'm one of them. That's why I'm on here talking to y'all, because I'm one of them. I like to do things and do them well. Anybody else like that? You know, you like to do things and do them well. And because I like to do things and do them well, I will, extend extra effort. The line here was enough, but I went a little bit over the line to make sure that it was on point. Okay. And because I'm a high achiever, I'm willing to learn a little extra. I'm willing to do a little extra. I'm willing to show up a little extra. And so typically, you are the one that people are looking to. You are the one that people are expecting. Then you begin to grow into these expectations. Well, they're going to expect this of me. Well, I don't want to show up if I can't do this. Well, I can't do this because then they going to think this. And it creates this dynamic. What do you need to let go of? Some of us need to let go of perfectionism. Perfectionism. Done is better than perfect because perfect never gets done. Some of us got to let go of playing small. You already know you smart. And so you're going to try to play like you're not smart so the other people don't feel dumb. That don't make sense. So you're going to make yourself small in order for somebody else to feel big. You're going to say no to yourself in order to say yes to somebody else. You know that you've worked all week. You're super tired. You done showed up all week at work, at the school. You did the program. You helped the principal. You did this. You did that. And you were looking forward to Saturday morning, sleeping in, getting some rest, having a late, lazy day. And then somebody calls you and says, sis, I need your help. I need you to do so and so and so and so. You try to say no, but you're not able to say no because you know it's going to hurt their feelings. Or you thinking, I don't want them to be mad at me. Or you're thinking they're going to talk about me if I don't do it. You're choosing them over you. You can't keep doing that. You got to get yourself into a different season. It's time out for not being the star of your own show. It's time out for showing up for everybody else and not showing up for yourself. I know you're doing it, sis. I know you're doing it because I used to do it too. I didn't want them to be mad at me. I didn't want them to think that I didn't care. I didn't want them to think that I thought I was better than them. I wanted them to think that we equal. We are equal. Don't you dare think that I'm better than you. And I'm definitely not going to think that I'm better than you because then that makes me a bad person. We got to stop, people. Yes, B. Janet says, yes, I have to stop playing small and pick one of the ideas I have and just start. Absolutely. B. Janice, this is your season of starting. This is your season of starting. Declare it, say it, believe it, and then take action. And guess what? When you start it, it don't have to be perfect. Sometimes we just have to start, and the lesson will come in the starting. The doors will open through the starting. And many times it's doing that thing that's to start that thing is going to get you to where it is you were really supposed to be. But we never get started. And so we never even get on the path. We never even get on the road because we were afraid that if what if it don't go right? That's okay. Try again. Do something different. Try something else. It's okay. We live in a world where you get to experiment, but we as educators, folks, we've been taught that we don't get to experiment. We got to get it right the first time. And if we don't get it right the first time, we failed. Well, I'm going to tell y'all a little secret. Failing is a part of winning. Losing is a part of winning. You got to be willing to be all in. See, I'm all in on my dream. I'm all in on my dream life. I'm all in on living because you know what? When you die, and all us got to leave here, nobody's gonna be sitting at your funeral talking about what she used to quit on everything she do. No, they're gonna be saying she tried, she lived her life, she had fun, she went after her goals, she did her thing. Baby, at my funeral, I need them to talk about how she showed up for herself. She did the things that she wanted to do. She lived her life. She tried some stuff. Some of it worked, some of it didn't, but she never gave up on herself. Chanel was a big dreamer. Chanel went after her dreams. Chanel was all in on her life. I'm all in. That's what I need them to talk about at my funeral. Now, some of y'all gonna be in the casket, in the urn, whatever way y'all go up out of here, and they gonna be saying stuff like she was always sick. She was she was always on YouTube. She was always on that social media, and so yeah, that ain't cute. That is not what you want them to say. If you're going to talk about me, you're going to talk about me so good and grand because I'm going to live my life the way I want to and not the way you wanted me to live it. I'm going to go after the things that I wanted to go after. But we cannot keep letting and waiting for other people to determine where we are in life, what it is we need to do, and how we need to do it. That means that you have to stand up for yourself and take ownership. Like Life Coach D says, she's all in. It's too many of us that are not all in. We're living our life by default. We're making excuses. We're procrastinating. Well, I don't have enough money right now. You got money for everything else. We make money for the things that are important to us. I don't have the time. Make time. If you can watch a TV show every week, you got time. If you can scroll on social media, you got time. If you can talk on your telephone, you got time. You got to make time. What is the thing that you need to stop doing in order to bring in more of the things that you want to do? Sacrifice is going to be needed in any season. I'm in spring right now. I had to put my winter coat up, but guess what? Some days it get a little nippy here in St. Louis. Right now, we're at about 64 degrees, but we got a good breeze that's blowing. I'm always cold. I got to prepare myself because I am always cold. Rain, shine, sleet, or snow. So I enjoy summers because it's the one time of the year that I'm not cold. I'm cold in the spring, I'm cold in the fall, and I'm definitely cold in the winter. So the way that I prepare for my seasons are different than the way that you will prepare for your seasons. I got long tunics, I got long sweaters, I got thin jackets, I got wraps, I got shawls, I got blankets, I got all types of stuff for the spring. Not for the winter, for the spring. Y'all might not need those things for the spring. You might be warm all the time, and so you don't need those things. You got to prepare for your season, just like I got to prepare for my season. And you're the only one who can prepare for it. My husband prepares for spring in a totally different way. He thinks that spring is absolutely amazing. Right now, that man ain't got no jacket on. That man is got on a short sleeve shirt, and he thinks that this is the best weather since I don't know when. But that's not for me. For me, I know that I need a jacket. I know that I need a shawl. I know that I need a sweater. And I'll mess around and put some gloves on in the springtime. But you got to know what season you're in. And so you got to get back to what are the things that you were doing that were working? And why did you stop? Why did you stop? Ask yourself that. You were doing some things that were working and you stopped. And then you picked up some things you know that are not working, yet you continue to do them. So we got to have behavior replacement. You say you want to focus on your wellness. Start small. Instead of having a soda, a pop, whatever you call it, drink water. Get you some water. I have my water every day. I'm not perfect. I do small things. I get my water. You might spend a little time in the evening on TikTok. And I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself. I enjoy a little TikTok. But guess what? I'm not finna spend 4 hours on it. I'm not finna spend 3 hours on it. I'm not finna spend 2 hours on it, because guess what? That could be the call that you need to make to your dad, to your aunt, to your cousin who you haven't talked to, just to check in on them. But that's not important. So you got to consider, what are the things that I need to change? What are the things that I need to do? Some of us need to work on focus. You got so many things you want to do. You got so many ideas you want to do that it becomes overwhelming. Pick one, like Janice said, pick one. What is the one? And then get some focus. But we're so worried about busyness, doing all the things. It's never going to be enough time to get everything done. You can let that go. Pick one thing and choose focus. What does focus look like? That means I'm gonna take an hour each day. 4 days out the week, I'm gonna take an hour and I'm gonna work on this one thing. I'm gonna set the timer. As the timer is going, I'm gonna stay focused. And I'm not gonna lose focus until that timer goes off. Well, guess what? I can't work at home. There's too many distractions here. Okay, go over to the library. Go to Panera Bread. Go somewhere where you're not at home, where the distractions are. We got to stop allowing excuses and procrastination to keep us from our dream. We got to stop letting the enemy stop us. Y'all will blame everything on the devil. You'll blame everything on the devil. The devil ain't did that, sis. You did that. The devil ain't did that. The devil busy doing other stuff. The devil ain't busy doing that. That's you. Nobody's making you not do the things that you want to do other than you. And then we prioritize things that should not be prioritized. I tell women this all the time, and you can get mad at me if you want to. You don't have to be at every game that your kid has. You do not. You do not have to be at every game that your kid has. And if you're the mode of transportation, and I did it too. I was every Wednesday, I had soccer. Every single Wednesday, I had soccer practice. And instead of going up there talking to them parents for an hour and a half every Wednesday night, go back on my Facebook page. Go all the way back on my Facebook page. You will see I was in my car. Some days I was in my car doing a live. Other days I was in my car writing in my notebook. I had my car parked. I could see my son on that field, and I was in the car being productive. Tonita said, "Good morning, Dr. D. You preaching?" I mean, coaching good. Because we gonna get this together. You know what? I made a post on Instagram, and it said how when we don't do the things that we are meant to do, we don't get to it's for the other people to receive the blessing. And I'm gonna keep coming back here, because the one thing that I done noticed when I decided to leave that school system, and y'all, wasn't nothing wrong when I left the school system. I was having success. I'm good at what I do. I know instructional design, I know curriculum, and I know how to coach. I coach my building from the bottom 5% of the state up to the 55th percentile of the state. I didn't spend no bunch of money bringing professional developers in. I didn't spend no bunch of money on technology. I used this mouth and this brain, and I talked to those teachers who I knew and believed in. I believed in them. I knew that they had what it took. I knew that they knew those kids. I knew that they knew instruction. They just did not have the environment needed to bring everything together. It's like throwing a bunch of seeds on the concrete. One might sprout, but 99% of them are not. That's what was happening. So I had to go in and create the environment and develop the culture for those educators to be able to do what the Lord blessed them to be able to do. So I had to be in position in order for them to be in position. It's the same thing for our families. When the Lord said it was time for me to move, I didn't want to move, y'all. I didn't want to move because it was easy. Everybody knew what Dr. D was going to say, what Dr. D was going to do, baby. If I wasn't at work, they would say, well, this is how Dr. D was handling it. And when I come back, they would say, Darvon was in the office. He did so-and-so. What you do? They would do exactly what I would do because they knew me. It was easy, y'all. And when the Lord put in me, I didn't ask for this. Let me say that. I was going to be okay. I was going to ride out them 8 years in misery and retire and do what they told me I should do. And then when I pulled up on that lot that day, and was opening that door and didn't want to get out and realized I hate my life. I don't like this job. I don't like showing up here. I don't want to spend my time like this every day. All of my time is spent in this school. Even on the weekends, I got to work at the school. I got to show up to events. I got to send emails. I got to check emails. I got to make schedules. I got to do all these things. I don't want to spend my time like that. And then the Lord said, it's more. There is more. You ain't got to do this. I didn't want to accept that because that meant that I was going to have to do something different. And in order to do something different, that meant I was going to have to get uncomfortable. But because I said, I'm going to step out on faith, I'm going to believe that I didn't put this in me because I don't know where it came from. And see, a lot of times we are too busy to be able to hear what is being sent to you. You are too busy to receive the message. Well, I was able to receive the message. I pulled up on the parking lot. Baby, I was pumping my Drake. Do you hear me? Started from the bottom. Now I'm here. I was pumping my Drake and it was loud. And you know how you pull on the lot and you got to turn it down because you don't want the people to know that you listen to rap. Turned it down and I was just sitting there just trying to compose myself. I was just trying to compose myself to get out with my fake smile on. Y'all know the fake smile. Don't sit and pretend. I was trying to compose myself. I had my hand on the door, baby. I was driving a 2016 white Honda Accord. Still got that car to this day sitting outside of my driveway. I was putting my hand on the doorknob and I was just kind of moving slow, not really in a rush, just trying to pull myself together. And this thought, when I say I received a message, a download, I was so outdone. I was like, what? Where'd that come from? I'm looking around. I'm like, where'd that thought come from? And then I was going to try to ignore it. You know how you going to try to ignore it. So then I put my hand on the door, to open the doorknob. You know how you got to pull it and push it out? That's what I was doing. And it kept playing in my head. There's more. This ain't it. There's more. There's more. You can have more. There's more. And I was like, oh man, what that mean? Like, okay. So I got on out the car and went on into the building. And when I got inside the building, that's when it dawned on me. You got to do this very same thing, this very same routine for the next 8 years. Do you hear me? For the next 8 years minimum. And when I say for the next 8 years, for the next 2,920 days, you got to do this exact same thing. And that's at the minimum. That's at the minimum. Are you ready for that? Are you willing to accept that for your life? Is this what you want to do for your life? Or you can make a different choice. It was on that day that I made a different choice. When I said to myself, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this for another 2,920 days. I'm not doing this. That was the day that I decided. That wasn't the day that I left, but that was the day that I decided that I was not going to do this for another 2,920 days. And then I realized I could not continue to be the person that I was if I wanted to move and become and do something different. I could not become and remain. One of the things that I often told my teachers, you can't want to become a great teacher and remain being the person that you are. You can't want to become a great parent and remain being the person that you are. You got to give up some things. You got to let some things go. So that's why I come here this morning to ask y'all, what season are you in? And are you letting somebody else determine it? Or are you determining it on your own? Tonita said, I had that experience when I touched my letter of intent. It was a spiritual experience. Ain't it the truth? Ain't it the truth? We're not going to even talk about when they sent that letter. When they sent that letter of intent to me that year, The Lord told me again. Y'all can call it what you want to, the universe, the Lord. But when I got that letter and I looked at it, my salary was $116,000 and some change. It was like 116,940. When I looked at it, it did not move me. And I was right then, it was like, there is more. That's no sign of what the more was. Nobody ever told me what the more was. This is what I want y'all to understand. The sign didn't say you can be a professional developer. The sign didn't say you can be a coach online. The sign didn't say you can go open a store. It simply said there is more. And then as soon as it came, then the doubt started coming. Who else gonna pay you $116,000? What job you know that's gonna pay you almost $120,000 a year? Girl, what world you live in? You a teacher. You ain't nothing but an educator. Girl, you only making this much because you a principal. If you was in that classroom, you wouldn't even be making that. And those things started to hit me. And I said, stop it right now. I said, Chanel, you stop it right now. If it said there is more, all you got to do is believe it and move forward. There is more. Some of y'all have had the revelation. You've had the visualization. You've had the experience, like Sister Tonisha has had the experience when she picked it up. But we are so scared to move forward because we live in a society where we're supposed to do what everybody else is doing. Sis, claim your season. Determine what your season is. Is your season a season of rebirth? What is your season? Evolution? This is my season of evolution, y'all. This is my season of evolution. I'm evolving. I'm going to the next level because even though I moved to a new level, it's another level for me. And I can't be the same person I am now in order to move into that new level. And so I had to say to myself, what are the things that I need to stop doing? And what are the things that I was doing that was working for me that I stopped doing? And why did I stop doing them? Let me tell y'all this just real quick. Let me just tell y'all this. So yesterday, when I woke up, I wasn't feeling too well. Like I wasn't feeling real well. And so I laid in the bed a little bit longer and I was like, okay, I'm gonna lay in the bed. So then my husband took my son to school. I got a cup of coffee. He brought me a cup of coffee. And so I drank my cup of coffee. I felt a little bit better. And so, I got myself together a little bit. I went and sat on the couch and I started scrolling online. You might have noticed yesterday, I made 3-4 posts on Instagram. That's because I was sitting around, right? I was sitting around. And so I'm sitting around. The day is passing. Things are happening. I get up. I feed my dog, give my dog his medicine because y'all know my dog trying to leave me and I'm trying to keep him as long as I can. So I gave him his medicine, went back to the couch. And then I sat down and I looked up. It was 6 o'clock. 6 p.m. Whole day done passed. Whole day. I ain't did a thing. So then I said to myself, that's okay, because I don't want y'all to think that it's not okay to rest. That's not the point of this, because it is okay to rest. But what you have to understand is I get a lot of rest. So that was an excuse for me. And so 6 o'clock came. My husband said, have you eaten? What you want to eat. So he go in the kitchen and he give me something to eat. So I eat and he was like, so are you feeling any better? And I was like, you know what? I really don't know. Because guess what? I hadn't really evaluated what was wrong. I just woke up and said I didn't feel well. So then my assistant sent me a message. And she said, hey, you said you had something for me and I didn't receive it. Are you going to send it? So I sent back and I said, well, I wasn't feeling real well today. And so I'll get it to you tomorrow. She sent back, I hope you feel better. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Y'all, sometimes we just need to be reminded. When she said that, I read it. I was like, interesting. Y'all, I hadn't had no water all day. had not. I had that cup of coffee, and didn't have any water all day. I got up and I went in there and I got me a cup of water. I got me a cup of water. Then I got another cup of water. And I said, you know what? We got to stop going to other stuff. The Lord gave us everything that we need to heal our bodies, to heal ourselves. And it starts with your brain, your mind. And then I said, okay, let me give me some more water. I drank me some water. Guess what? Started feeling better. Went on in that bathroom, used the bathroom, feeling better. And then I said, you know what? This was me telling myself that I didn't feel better because I didn't have a headache. I didn't have a stomach ache. There was no physical ailment that was making me not feel better. But let me go a step further. Today, I got a podcast interview. Now stay with me for a minute. It's not my podcast. I'm going to be on somebody else's podcast. Baby, when I woke up this morning, I got up. You see, I'm dressed. Got a little foundation and concealer on my eyes, a little lipstick on my lips. Got a little outfit on. Yesterday, I didn't change my clothes. I still have my pajamas on. I didn't do anything. Kept my hair in my ponytail. Was just looking a mess. And when I realized what I had done, I created this situation. Nobody else. I was willing to get myself up out the bed to show up for this other lady's podcast, but I wasn't willing to get myself up out the bed and get myself together for my own podcast. I don't know if y'all able to catch that. See, because we will show up for other people before we will show up for ourselves. And this morning, when I woke up and looked at my calendar and it said I had that podcast interview today at 1:00, and I got to moving and shucking and making it happen, I stopped myself in my tracks and I said, never again. Never again. If you can show up for her, you can show up for you. And this ain't the first time this has happened, because a lot of us will show up for those jobs. We'll show up for that school. We'll show up for those kids, but we won't show up for ourselves. We won't show up for our business. We don't have time for anything else. You'll go to school work. You'll go to school sick. You'll go to that job sick. You will reschedule doctor's appointments to be at work. You will schedule everything around your job, but you won't show up for yourself like that. You won't show up for your business like that. When I realized what I did today, this morning, y'all, I said, never again. Never again. Chanel, you show up for yourself first. You showing up for this lady on her podcast in your fullness and all that you bring, but you couldn't do this for yourself yesterday. You can do this for yourself. Oh, because you got to be able to check you. See, a lot of us, we can't be real with ourselves. We too busy in the world of delusion. And delusion is good sometimes. It'll get us to the next level. But we also got to be real and have a reality check. When we are BSing ourselves, when we are procrastinating, when we are making excuses, because that's all I was doing yesterday. That's what I was engaging in yesterday. But when I realized it this morning, oh, baby, once I realized it, because sometimes it takes a minute for it to come out, I said, oh, that won't happen again. That won't happen again. And here I am sitting before you. So I just want y'all to figure out, what season are you in? I want you to declare, what season are you in? And you got to know that you must change for whatever season of your life that you're in. Seasons don't last forever. Why can't we commit to doing something for 30, 60, 90 days? Why is that so hard? And why is it so hard when it comes to you? But you can commit to a job for a year. Some of y'all will say, well, I signed a contract and I can't leave. You committed to that job. You are loyal to that school system. Some of us are more loyal to our principals than we are to our spouses. I'm just going to leave that right there. What do you need to let go of? And what do you need to let in? Some of us need to be in a different environment because you can't grow where you're at. You're not growing. Some of us have not grown in years. In years. I'm talking about spiritually, I'm talking about mentally, I'm talking about physically. We have not grown in years because we've been the one in the room who answers all of the questions. We're the one, nobody gives us advice, nobody gives us feedback, nobody tells us when we're wrong because they already know she gonna come back at you. See, because we as high achievers, we know how to get you off us. We know how to get you off our back. We know exactly what to say to shut you down. We know how to spin the table so that when you pointing out to us what we shouldn't be doing, we know how to spin that table to let you know, hey, you better back up off me. And that's not a good thing, people, because we all need mentors. We all need coaches. We all need the person who's ahead of us who can look back and give us a piece of the knowledge. We can't always be the knowledge givers. And you got to know when to step back. You got to know when to sit down and learn and listen, and when to be the one to lead. Every good leader understands this. And if you've never, and right now, even in your classrooms, I used to tell my teachers this all the time. There are a lot of teachers who think that they are there as the leader of the classroom, and you are, and you are. And they think that those kids have nothing to teach them. I learned some of my best lessons from my students. And my students knew. I had this 16-year-old little girl, nice little girl, and she would say some of the most amazing things. And so one day, I stepped out the room, and the kids was clowning. I taught high school, y'all. Kids was clowning. They was clowning. I stepped out the room talking to the lady next door. Y'all ain't had no business out that room talking to the lady next door, but y'all know how we do. So they was in there clowning, arguing, and carrying on. And the little girl said whatever she said to get calm and order into the room. So when I stepped back into the room, I said, what was going on in here? And so the kids were saying she was yelling at me, and so a little boy said, but she was able to get us together. And so I said, what did she say? And the little girl told them, she said, y'all should be grateful to be able to get up and come to school without a care in the world. But y'all want to sit here and argue and fight. She said, do you know I had to sleep outside on a bench last night because I ain't have nowhere to go. I had to figure out how I was going to get me and my little brother clean. So I went to the McDonald's, used their bathroom, cleaned us up. And when we come to school, this is where we eat. This is where we get warm. And this is where we know we're safe. She said, but y'all use y'all time to argue, fight, talk about one another, fuss, clown. And I just wish I had what y'all had. That one thing that she said and that one perspective changed that class for the rest of the semester. For the rest of the semester. Not only that, in that same class, that little girl got a job at that very McDonald's, emancipated herself, took in her little brother, paid every bill, and only talked about how grateful she was. She was grateful to have a job. She was grateful to come to school. She was grateful to be able to help her brother. And so leadership means knowing how to step back and let other people lead. She would give us words each day. I would give her space and I would give her the room. And she would just share what she was going through. We have to understand that a part of being in our season is knowing what we need to let go of and what we need to let in. B. Janice says, I need a mentor. I've been mentoring everyone else and getting absolutely nowhere for myself. That's so true. We cannot keep depositing into other people and nobody deposits into us. It's going to deplete us. It's going to take away all of our energy, and then we're no good for anybody else. people, determine what season you're in and understand. This is my last thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let y'all off here. What we need to understand is that you either gonna earn your way, you're either gonna pay your way, or you're going to serve your way. And you need to understand where you at in that process. So some of us, we're gonna earn our way to into the rooms that we need to be in, into the spaces we need to be in, with the mentors we need to be with. Some of us, we're gonna need to pay our way. I will tell you at all times, you either got more time or you got more money. And when you got more time, it's gonna take you longer. When you got more money, you can take the shortcut. You can make time collapse by getting with someone who's already done it, who's going to help you to not make the many mistakes that you would make going the long route. Or you can serve your way. And you got to figure out which one you're willing to do. Which one you're willing to do. I declare, me personally, and I will hope that you will take me up in this, I declare that it's going to be an abundant April. That's what I'm declaring. It's going to be an abundant April, and not just because April starts with an A, but because abundance is your birthright. It's going to be an abundant April, and we can intentionally design our month to be absolutely amazing. I recommend that you get into gratitude. Think about all the things that you're grateful for. Stay grounded in that gratitude. Figure out how you can give and support each day to somebody else without depleting yourself. It might just be a word. It might be money. It might be a little bit of time. But I try to stay in gratitude for April. I'm going to tell y'all what I'm going to do for April. For the month of April, I'm going to try to come online every day. And that's my way of serving. That's my way of giving. I'm going to come on here every morning, and I'm going to commit to trying to sow a word into other people, to inspire, to help you to be accountable for what it is you said you want for your life for the month of April. But many of us are not even willing to say what it is that we want. Why is that? Why are we afraid to say what we want? What do you want for yourself for the month of April? What is the season that you're in? What are you asking for? What are you praying for April? Can you put it in the chat? B. Janice says, thank you. This has been helpful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, B. Janice. Tell us in the chat. Tell us in the comments. What are you asking for the month of April? What are you looking forward to? What is the season that you are declaring for yourself? Are you afraid to say it? And if you are, why? Why are you afraid to put it in the chat? Put it in the chat and say it. Because is it because you don't believe it? Is it because you think that if you say it, people are going to hate on you? People going to wish bad things against you? And then I got to ask you, what's the mindset that you have? Like, why do you believe in only the negative things and not the positive things? B. Janice says, I'm looking forward to clarity and taking action. So this is an action-filled April for B. Janice. This is an action-filled April for B. Janice. And she got to declare it. And every day, wake up to say, I thank God for clarity in action. I thank God for giving me the clarity that I need to know which actions I need to take. Tonisha says, financial increase, her cup runneth over. So Tonisha is with me. She said, this is going to be an abundant April. You got to declare it and you got to believe it. Now, who do you need to become? Because people who have financial increase, people who live an abundant life, they're not stingy people. They don't worry about all of the bills that's coming in and focus on the bills. They're not so worried about all of the credit cards that are due. They're not worried about every little penny because they know that abundance is their birthright. So what do you need to let go of? First of all, this is for Tonisha because she said she's going to have financial increases and her cup runneth over. So that means that she's stepping into abundance. That means that you're going to already know how you're celebrating. What is going to be your celebration for the month of April? What is going to be your celebration? What is it going to be? What is going to be your celebration? And then what are you going to do to have fun? What fun will you have in the month of April? Because we're talking about abundance. And when we're talking about abundance, we're talking about spiritually, mentally, emotionally, socially, financially. All of that goes together. And so, like each day when you wake up, you're going to say to yourself, abundance is my birthright. This is my abundant April, and my cup runneth over. If your cup runneth over, you need to step into that. You need to show up as your cup is running over. You cannot wait for the cup to run over in order to receive that the cup is running over. You got to already be able to visualize and be in the place of the cup is running over. And that's how you have to show up. So when you go to the Starbucks and the person is behind you, that's why you see the people paying for the order behind them. I'm going to leave $20 to pay for the order behind me because guess what? My cup runneth over, and I'm going to share my abundance with the person behind me. For me, April is going to be amazing for me. I've already declared that. She said, yes, ma'am. And me and my husband's birthday and anniversary. There you go. Celebrate in an abundant way, Tonisha, because it's your birthday and your anniversary. Happy birthday and happy anniversary. And celebrate it as if your cup runneth over and not as if you are scratching and scrounging and in a hole and looking for money and scared to do the things that you want to do. Because I already know that April is going to be my abundant April, I've already planned. So because I'm going to have this amazing April and I'm going to show up because my cup runneth over, like Tonisha says, my cup runneth over. So I'm going to give to you all abundantly. I'm going to show up abundantly on social media because I can talk to more people that way. I'm going to show up abundantly. I'm also on YouTube. I'm going to show up abundantly, but I've already for May, because April is going to be an abundant month for me. I'm planning a sisterhood day for Mother's Day, a sisterhood day, because a lot of the mothers who have these mother roles are not necessarily mothers. And I was one myself because I didn't have kids until my late 20s. But in my early 20s and teens, I was mothering some of my nieces and nephews. Okay. So I understand that on Mother's Day, while you giving that mother a gift, you should have been giving Auntie Nell a gift, because Auntie Nell is the one who's been sacrificing, who's been showing up, who's been emotionally supporting this child, who's been financially supporting this child, who's been socially supporting this child. And so I'm doing a sisterhood day. And so we're going to get together, me and the sisters and the nieces and nephews and all the sisters, as in sisterhood, not as in family sisters. And we're going to do a sisterhood picture to commemorate this day where we honor one another. And then we're going to make our own signature perfume. We're going to go and make our signature perfume. See, because we get to determine what our signature scent is. We don't need for Chanel, the Coco Chanel. We don't need for Louis Vuitton. We don't need y'all to determine what smells good. We can determine our own scent. So we're going to go and make our own perfume and our own candle. And then we're going to leave there and we're going to go have a fabulous dinner. And we're just going to celebrate sisterhood, having one another, being able to support one another. And that's how I'm celebrating my amazing month of April. It's also my niece's birthday on April 8th. And I have a great niece whose birthday is April 13th. I will celebrate them abundantly because my cup runneth over. And then as for me, I am taking my wellness to the next level, making sure that I have all the things that I need. I went 2 days ago, and had a full blood workup done to make sure that I was well in my circulation system. I am making sure that I get my telehealth appointment completed. I take my vitamins and upgrade my supplement game to make sure, and it's all natural. I have my teas that I use to make sure that I'm feeling better. One of my folks told me about oregano oil, and it's been amazing. And so it's all about being in an abundant space. And in order to do that, I have to take care of me. And then when I take care of me, I'm able to help more people. And so I encourage you to figure out, what season are you in? What is the season that you're in? Declare it. What are you believing for the month of April? And what are you going to allow to knock you off of it? What doubt do you know you're going to need to battle now? What doubt do you know is going to come in? I'm not good enough. What if they don't buy it? What if I don't make no money? I ain't got no money. My bank account says zero. You got to have something to combat that now. What people do you need to not talk to? Those negative people who you call every day and all they do is complain, baby, that's draining your energy. That's taking your energy away. You don't need to talk to them this month. Send them a message. Let them know I got some things going on this month. You might not hear from me much, but just know I'm praying for you. That's it. That's it. Do not disturb on your phone so that you can focus. For those people who are looking for focus, B. Janice is looking for clarity. That means that we got to stop all of the outside noise. We got to sit and get still and be able to listen and receive. See, when you are praying, that's you talking, that's you thinking, that's you telling the Lord what it is you want. That's one thing. But when you sit in meditation, that's when you're able to receive. That's why y'all get so many thoughts when you're in the shower, because you're in the shower and you're not thinking about all these other things, and you're able to receive. When you're praying, that's you asking, that's you requesting, that's you requiring, that's you praising. No, that you got to do that too. But then you got to get in the space to be able to receive. You got to be able to get focused. You got to be able to let the things come down and be downloaded into you, and write them down and know how to move forward. So figure out your season. Stop living your life by default and decide to live your life by design. You're in charge of you. It is your responsibility to be happy. It is your responsibility to be well. And the sooner we figure out what are the things that are stopping us from our destiny, what are the things stopping us, what is the procrastination, what are the excuses, what is the doubt, stop letting the enemy stop you. Because what I can tell you is that's not the Lord, baby. That's not the universe. That's not nature. That's you. That's you. So abundant April, people. It's going to be an abundant April. And I wish you nothing but the best. Have a great rest of your day. And y'all will see me a lot more in the month of April.